Hey everybody, Old Buck Dave back again, episode 203 of Two Old Bucks. And with me is
Yeah, two old buck bells.
Mr. Marvelous. I'll tell you what,
Yeah.
you get better looking every week. You know that? This is
I
great.
I think these cameras are lying. I look like I'm getting older every
What are you
week.
going to
I swear.
believe? Your
What do
lion
you got to
eyes or
believe?
me?
Yeah. Denying reality, right? There.
Well, yeah, we got another one going here.
Got another one going. I got a lot of interesting stuff to talk about, but I'm curious to hear about uh your adventure up in the was it Georgia mountains? I guess you would call it
North Carolina mountains.
North Carolina mountains. Okay.
Black Mountain, North Carolina. Yeah. Hey, before I'll talk about that, but before that, I want to mention we got a couple letters here for some avid listeners. Got a couple thumbs up on Andy Huggins. That was the comedian, the old guy,
Yeah, yeah,
and
it
some
was
people
funny.
wrote back and said, "Yeah, he really is good." The implication was he's a lot better than you guys, but what are you going to say?
Well, but you know that I've never, what, espoused to be or professed to be a comedian. It's just that life sometimes is funny to me.
Sometimes,
That's what I'm gonna
yeah, honest.
do.
Yeah.
So
Well,
anyhow,
yeah.
I
Oh,
agree.
yeah.
He's
And
a good comedian.
we also got some feedback on Limu the emu in the car commercial or insurance commercial, whatever it is.
The one
Tur-
I'm espousing to be is completely real, and they trained to do all those things.
and I said it's fake. It's computer generated. Well, we're both right. Okay, there is a real emu. I had written down his name, but I can't remember his real name now. He's a
Oh,
real emu, and yeah, and they filmed him walking around doing stuff, and then they manipulated for him to do all this stuff. So we're both right.
my thoughts are that even though we've proved it to be wrong or partially wrong, people who want to believe things tend to believe them. In fact, there was a big article in the paper about why that happens, and 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 I don't want to. I mean, I don't want to go down this rabbit hole, but it was like when someone says something like that, I believe this emu is real. They they said making him look foolish doesn't help. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
It's like
Interesting point.
saying,
Yeah.
he said you have to approach it because it somehow makes them even more convinced. They want to defend their position even more. So if you want to discuss the issue, you have to approach it a different way. So people who fall for fake news,
We
you
might
can point
touch
it
on
out
that
to them
later.
quite clearly.
We might touch on that later. I don't know. It's possible. It's possible. So
So anyhow, you had another
stay
letter. What was
tuned, folks.
what was the other letter you had? Oh,
And we got
okay.
a couple other letters saying, nice episode. Thank you. We always appreciate those too, for sure. Uh, but moving on to Black Mountain. Yeah, Black had 10 days in beautiful Black Mountain, North Carolina, up at we stayed at 2,500 feet and sometimes got to 3,000, feet. Not always by bicycle, but sometimes.
Is that
And
relatively high?
well, it's higher than Florida. It's high enough. It's high enough that we had highs in the 70s. Sometimes it just barely reached 70 during the day. And we had a low in the high 40s one night. Normally the nights went down to the 50s. So it was great. I had the windows and doors open. We had screens on. I got, as an aside, I got attacked again. I got some kind of creatures attacked my ankles and my my feet, my calves. I had approximately 80 bites this time, and I am not going to show a video of that because it's just too ugly. But man, oh
So
man,
there was little red spots kind of thingy,
yeah,
or
I
just
think I
you could
think they
feel them.
were I
Did you
think they were
scratch them?
probably, of course,
Oh,
that's
okay.
why they bleed. Uh, I think they were no-see-ums. They weren't mosquito bites; they were smaller than mosquitoes. So I think they were no-see-ums. First couple of days, I wasn't really using any insect repellent, and I think that's what happened. They got me somewhere. You know what? That's a small price to pay for the wonderful 10 days I had up there. It was terrific.
The mosquitoes tend to like you.
They do. I don't know why the bugs always go for me. My
They,
wife's
they
theory
don't
is
they
it's
don't
blood
seem to
type.
bother me. I don't have as much trouble as everybody else does with mosquitoes. So
She never gets bit. I always get bit. It's like
I think it's because I'm cool.
because I'm sweet, maybe.
Oh, you're
Because I'm
sweet.
marvelous.
You're sweet, and I'm cool.
You're cool.
Yeah.
You're looking cool there. You haven't shaved your shoulder yet. I asked you to shave your shoulders for this week, but
No, that's
that's you.
you know
That's you. That's part of
actually
the image. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
did the wife did insist that I quit wearing those cut off. I always take these old T-shirts. They get spaghetti sauce on them and paint on them, and I always cut the sleeves off of them and run around. And I think I fool myself that I look halfway respectable, but in reality, I'm sure I'm not. Not
I keep
pleasant to look
telling you, you look marvelous.
at.
Trust me on that.
Yeah.
Hey,
So
but
carry on with
back to
your
Black Mountain.
your
Yeah.
adventure story. Back to Black
Yes. So
Mountain.
I got several bike rides. They were all, the level was always like between 3 and 6% grade. That was the level, and then of course then the hills went from that. I didn't do a whole lot of hills, but I did. I got a lot of elevation in. But anyway, on one day, saw a bear walking alongside of the road. Took a pic. I think I sent you a picture of that, didn't I?
That is the picture I use for my phone.
Okay.
It's
All
on my
right.
lock
So it's
screen.
being put to good use. Yeah.
It is, and I'll tell you why that is if you ask. You don't want to know why
We
that
did. We
is.
saw two bears. We did see two bears. Uh,
And these are
didn't get.
black bears, by the way.
These are black bears, not grizzlies. Yeah, these are black
Mhm.
bears. One was a reasonably big size, uh, and we have a receptacle out in front of the house. It's a wood and metal cage where you put the garbage in, and the cans are inside. And of course, then it locks. And first time I put the garbage in there, came out the next morning, and it was strewn all over the road. The bear had broken the metal bars and had managed to reach in there and pull all the trash out. He ate all the chicken bone. He left all the asparagus spears. I don't know why, but he didn't eat the asparagus. I'm saying he might have been a she. I don't know, but and then
So, but isn't that what that was supposed to prevent? Isn't that
yeah, yeah. I guess this was a stronger bear than they expected. I don't know. So
so? Theoretically, if there had been some really goodies in there, something like if you had a whole roasted chicken in there, they could smell those. They were going to tear that thing apart to get in there.
we did have the remnants of a roasted chicken. I think that's what did it.
But I mean, if
Yeah.
you had the whole thing in there,
Oh,
if it was really, really smelling, they would have ripped that
that
thing
would have
apart.
been party all night. Yeah.
So now your receptacle has basically been
I
compromised.
Yeah, well, I try to bend the bars back into shape a little bit. It didn't look so
This is to
bad.
protect the trash, ladies and
Just to
gentlemen. We're
protect the
talking to
trash.
prevent the trash from getting.
Yeah, yeah. But I did one of my regular bike rides was to a little town called Montreat, which was a couple miles up into the hills. Turns out this is where Billy Graham grew up. I didn't know that.
Hmm.
And it's a really nice little town, and they've got a conference center back there. Oh, by the way, so two doors down from me, I see a van, and it says Suncoast Pickleball Association on it, Sarasota, Florida. You believe
No
that?
kidding.
Yeah. And so I happened to see we were at a restaurant eating outside, and a guy pulled in. That van pulled in, and I thought I got to talk to this guy. So I'm waving. He put the window down. I said, "Yeah, Suncoast. We're from from Sarasota area. Also, blah blah blah. We play pickleball." And anyway, he had a pickleball camp going at Montreat. So,
Oh,
pickleball boot camp for I guess a week. He's one of the regulars there. It was a good chat, but I digress. I digress. So one day I went up there, and there's a ranger up there. There's a ranger station, and he's sitting out on the porch whittling. So I figured it's a slow day for him. Started talking about this and that, and then I talked about the bears, and he said yeah, he said the ones that they're generally not a problem. He said, you get between the mother and her cubs, and she'll smack you, but he said once you go down, she won't bother you anymore. She'll just go away. The threat is over. And he said the ones that come into town are the problem bears. They get used to eating, doing like what my bear did. And he said they had to euthanize 4 of them this year, unfortunately. Of course, at that point, I told him about Tahoe Toogie, the bear whisperer that we had on here, and he's like, "Oh yeah, maybe that'll work in Tahoe, but we got I don't know." Anyway, uh,
Did
so
he not hear of Tago Tugi? He
he
never
had
heard
not
of it?
heard of him. He had not heard of him. Yeah, he showed me a picture of a one of the, like a metal box, a metal dumpster that was bolted down, and
Mhm.
the lid was ripped. The metal was actually ripped. He said they got like a 500-pound guy walking around there, and he said he's been doing some stuff.
Doing a lot of damage.
Yeah, but again, he said normally he said it's not a problem for people. He said the only danger is disappearing house pets. Disappearing
Disappearing
house pets.
hospice.
What's that make you think
And
of?
the bear happens to be black.
The bears from Haiti. Yeah.
Uh,
No.
well, there you
Oh,
go.
I
That
mean,
could
I
be.
was just, I wanted to say that, but I didn't.
I mean, that would explain it, right? I mean, it's simply Springfield has a lot of wild bears, I guess,
Springfield,
Ohio, that
yeah,
is.
it's really, I mean, it's just a shame what has
It
happened
is.
to that poor little town in
Yeah.
Ohio. Uh,
Hey, you mentioned it, although I wasn't thinking too much about that, but just off the top of my head, I really feel bad about generalizing that statement because I've worked with several Haitian immigrants, and I'm telling you, they were just fantastic people, hardworking, disciplined. Um, I mean, I was impressed with their work ethic. But to generalize that uh, and say that all Haitians up there are consuming local pets, I mean, that's just to me that's just
it's
dangerous thing to
pathetic.
say.
It's
And,
sad.
yeah,
It is dangerous. And
a lot of innocent people are going to get caught up in that. And of course, at a distance, you see a person who is from the Congo or Nigeria or Africa or just a plain old African American, and you lump them into uh, that
yep.
condition or that action simply because he looks like the same color when they're just two different people entirely, entirely. Anyhow, I wish those folks all the best up there. I hope they can cope with that.
Yeah,
I think is the main
really. I
thing
mean,
to do.
it's sad. I came across a John Legend video. You know, John Legend, the
The
musician,
piano player, the singer, yeah.
singer. Yeah. And it was really a very earnest and thoughtful take on the Haitian situation in Springfield. He is from Springfield, as it turns out. And he explained how they're all legally here on a temporary visa. Uh, the town actually had a bit of a revitalization after losing population for a number of years, and they needed people to fill the jobs. The jobs were going unfilled.
I
And
know
so
a
they take so they tell their cousins, hey, this is a good place to come. So and they're adding to the community. Come on, come on.
listen to this. Listen to this. The one of the Haitian ladies, a young woman, works in the hospital and has the most difficult. If you could think of the most difficult job in a hospital, and those folks have to, they don't have to take those jobs, but they take it to get experience and to work and to survive because basically they can't get anybody to do it. And I admire this woman greatly I said, you do that. You see that. She said, yeah, well, once they pull the sheet up over, someone's got to sort the
Yeah.
room out.
Yeah.
And I said, you do that too.
Mm.
Said, yeah, I move them downstairs too. And I said, I mean, my heart went out to them. Anyhow, that's our thoughts on that. And like I said, I hope they get through this and it calms down. But
Yeah.
I thought it
Well,
was not a good.
that was the silliest, craziest thing that Trump said during the debate, but it wasn't the scariest thing.
What'd you consider that to be?
Well, twice the moderator asked him if he wanted Ukraine to win the war with Russia.
Oh,
And he did not say yes, did he? He did not say yes. He doesn't like Ukraine. He loves Putin, another strong man. Ukraine when he asked Zelensky to get him dope on Joe Biden, and Zelensky said, "Yeah, there's no
Well, you
dope."
think that could be he's holding that against them because
Well,
they
yeah,
just
and
didn't help him
also,
against Biden.
he had this idea that there was this mythical DNC server that was in Ukraine, that was hidden in Ukraine, and it shows that the Ukrainians, not the Russians, were the ones that influenced the 2016 election. So, and Zelensky said, "There's nothing like that. Honest, really, there's nothing like that here." So he's holding that against him. So, okay, so he wants Putin to win. Putin wins. You know who loses? Not just Ukraine,
Moldova, Georgia, Lithuania,
Lithuania, Poland, and
and
so
very
it
likely
goes.
Poland. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then,
The
you know,
West, the West loses. That's who
when
loses.
I think of that, I'm thinking, well, we Americans like to travel to Europe to enjoy the amenities there. You might need a special passport to get in over there after that. So, hey, that's a real rabbit hole. I got some lighter stuff to talk
Talk to me.
about.
Yeah, talk to me. It's your turn here. I've
Uh,
taken up too much time.
I don't know. I mean, I don't have too much time on my hands, but I always come up with something.
Yeah, you do.
Something I do. I something just troubles me. Okay, this is I call it my windshield wiper hack.
Okay.
Okay, on the windshield wipers of your car, as they turn, as the wipers move back and forth, right? They, the little blade, the little rubber blade, which isn't very thick or very long or wide, flips back and forth, right, to sort of make a good sweep.
A good sweep.
Okay, so on the
A good
final,
wipe.
a good wipe, and everybody likes a good wipe every now and then. So I'm saying to myself, once the blade makes a final sweep to the resting position, it's always tilted upward. Can you picture that? So you got the blade moving back and forth. When it comes down and rests on the bottom of the windscreen, it's tilted upward. Because
Correct.
theoretically, when it goes the other way, it should flip. It
Flips.
should sort of alternate and then wipe it out in that direction. So it's kind of always in the wiping mode, left and up and down. However, as they age, most of the time the blades are sitting in that upward position in the heat for long periods of time. And pretty soon on the upward stroke, it doesn't wipe very much because now the blade is always in a downward wiping position.
That's when
So
it
I
starts
said,
going bup, 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 like that.
yeah. So I'm saying to myself, I
Huh.
wonder if I can reverse that. So I take the blade off.
Mr. McGyver.
I take the blade off and I look at it and I said, boy, if I could turn this blade 180 degrees end for end and put it back on, the blade now would be on the bottom side again. You know what I mean?
You'd have a new good side.
I would have it theoretically should be able to go the other way because it's not
And okay. And you tried
leaning.
this? You tried this?
Okay, well, I took the device that holds it to the arm apart, and when I went to change it, I said, "Well, I'll just switch it around." It looks to be equal, but it doesn't fit.
Wow.
Inside this little plastic device is 3 little tabs, and those tabs will not allow you to turn it 180 degrees. So I'm doing this.
So somebody already thought about you
they
out there.
realized that. They realized that if they can keep it in one direction, you got to get a new one. So I said, "Oh my soul!" I said, I looked at that, and I said, "Man, I wonder if I can modify this somehow that it would work." But the whole time I'm doing this is a $30 blade. They're not cheap anymore. It's like a $30. So I said, I'm going to.
It's less than a mattress. Let's put it that way.
Right. And you know what I can do to one of them things. So I'm looking at this and I said, I'm going to be careful here. So I take this little plastic device. Now, this is a device that hooks, that allows the blade to be joined to the arm. This is a little device. They often give you 2 or 3 of those to match up the arms of the vehicle you're using. So I realized what that are, and I take my knife and I very carefully carve out the 3 interfering tabs. So can you picture that? I'm holding this little plastic thing in my hand.
Okay.
And I very carefully cut these three little tabs out. And lo and behold, it goes together. Because
Oh,
now I've eliminated the restrictions. I put it back together, 180 degrees opposite. And guess what? It works.
it
It
works.
works. Yeah. And I said, if I went on TikTok, it might even somebody did that, but if I went on TikTok, I said, nah, I'm not going
You know what? If you had a podcast or something like that, you could show that to
to.
people.
Well, we know there's only two or three people listen to us. They probably would never
That's
try this,
true.
but I didn't want something like
They
that to
don't
get out,
drive. Yeah.
be known as the person who ruined the entire wiper blade business because I
You,
figured out.
you tanked the whole industry.
I don't know what I
Oh,
think the strange thing about that, Dave, is that I'm willing to ruin a $30 blade that probably would not have needed change just then.
just then.
And I said, boy, I'm flirting with danger here. And
Well,
sure enough, I was able
yeah.
to skin those things off, put it back together.
Congratulations.
And that's my story. Yeah,
That's your
I
story.
have another funny story.
Tell me.
This is,
Talk to me.
I think this is a little bit, maybe it'll hit home to some folks, but my wife is watching The Golden Bachelorette. Have you heard that?
That's this new,
It's like The
it's this new,
Bachelor and The Bachelorette. She's
except
an
they're
older
geezers.
lady. Yeah, she's probably in her
She's a
60s or something.
geezerette. Yeah. Okay.
Reasonably looking, nice looking woman. Okay. So she's watching this and she's making she's making kind of comments and everything. And I said, what is troubling you about this? She said, I feel bad for these men. I said, what?
Well, that's a first.
Yeah. She says, oh, look at these men. She said, they're all upset. They're all in tears that they were rejected or something. And then she points out the desire for companionship apparently never goes away. It's a major issue. Loneliness is considered a legitimate ailment. And these men, which are all pretty handsome, but they're competing for one girl. And it kind of makes you think, we are lucky enough to have spouses that we're not widowed or divorced.
Both
I
have,
mean, if
both
we only
have,
had each other, life would be
yeah.
tough.
Yeah. If you and I only had each other, yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be different.
So
No, I
she
mean,
was
yeah,
feeling,
that's a serious point. That's a good point. Yeah.
yeah, she was feeling bad for that, and it was like, geez, how do these guys? So, uh, I I only mentioned that to you because she felt bad for the men. It just the reality of it. I never would have picked up on that. And I figured, those guys, they're all good looking. They can go out and find somebody. Apparently, it's not that easy. So, anyhow, I've got my cigars and I've got a good wife, and I'll
There you
carry
go.
on.
That's all you need. Plus, you've got some time on your hands.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hence the wiper
So,
blade fiasco. Yeah.
anybody's got any comments on that? That's a sensitive subject, sensitive topic, and uh, you know, write
Yeah.
into
I
us.
mean,
Tell us what you think.
we can joke about it, but it is a serious topic.
It is a
You're
serious
right.
subject.
It's a serious topic, and it's
Yeah,
people need people. It's really
people need
so.
people.
Make a friend, folks. Keep,
Right. I mean,
make,
that's basis
keep a
basis
friend.
of our whole podcast was contact that old friend that you have and known for many years. Check and see how they're doing. So, anyhow, that's kind of the lighthearted stuff I've been up to. So,
Okay. So while we're on lighthearted stuff,
mm.
have you heard about the annual Ig Nobel Awards?
I know what that is, and I can't think of what it was, but as the name implies,
This is
you can't make this stuff up.
you can't make this stuff up. This is kind of a takeoff on the Nobel Awards, which we all know.
It's extreme opposite of a Nobel
It's the
Award.
extreme opposite. They look at all this studies, research work that has gone on in different fields, and then they make awards to the ones that they think are the most questionable. Okay, again, people that have maybe had too much time on their hands. So there were a bunch of them, and I'll put a link to the awards, but I'd like to touch on 3 or 4 of them here.
And I would also point out that we wouldn't even know about these unless this group scoured the the locations of stuff like this to even tell us about it. I mean, it's just
somebody is scouring
somebody,
through the research papers all around the
yeah,
world, because
just to
these
find
people are
out.
from all around the world, the winners. Yeah,
Right.
they absolutely are. So I'm not going
So
to say
what are they?
I'm not going to say who the quasi winners are, but let's see. I got four categories that I'd like to touch upon. The first one is anatomy. The winner here got their prize for studying whether the hair on the heads of most people in the northern hemisphere swirls in the same direction, clockwise or counterclockwise, as hair in the heads of most people in the southern hemisphere. Now that's
I mean, people want to know that. I mean,
yeah.
that's a
I mean, you don't have
important
that. You
factor.
don't have to. You're probably not thinking about that at all.
I go to hemisphere back and forth, not even having a thinking about it.
But yeah, somebody wrote a paper on that. Uh, let's move on to physics. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Physics.
Okay. The award in physics went to a team who published a paper to demonstrate and explain the swimming abilities of dead trout.
The swimming abilities of
Yeah,
dead
that's something that's
trout.
that's been a burning issue for us for sure.
Yeah.
Physiology. Now this one,
Physiology. Okay.
physiology. For discovering that many mammals are capable of breathing through their anus. You're speechless, aren't you? You're speechless.
I'm trying to think. Did they give an example of a creature that did that?
They did
No.
well.
That's the
I
topic
didn't
of the
read the paper,
research.
but actually, I read a story about this research, and it's. I mean, it was legit, and on the legit side, it's they were looking for ways if somebody was like a burn victim or something, how could they get oxygen to them if their airways were closed? So there is some legitimacy to that, but
Oh, I see. I
okay, but
see.
I don't know. And I think biology is my favorite here. Okay, and they won for exploding a paper bag next to a cat that's standing on the back of a cow to explore how and when cows spew their milk. I know you've been up at night a lot of times wondering that.
Isn't that something we did
Got
as
to
a
figure out how
kid?
you can get a cow, a cat, and a paper bag in a room at the same time.
Didn't we do that in high school? We'd take a cat and throw it on a cow. Let's say, quick, Dave, hit the plastic bag when the cat hits the cow and see what happens.
That was a long time ago. Too many secrets coming out here. Oh
my
gosh.
soul. We were going to take that one to the grave with us, weren't we?
Yeah, we were.
Yeah.
That idea is shot. But anyway, so I think there were like 12 or 15 of them anyway. So we'll put a link to that if people want to read the rest of them. They hand out an obsolete $10 trillion Zimbabwe bill. You've probably seen those.
Oh, yeah. Somebody gave me one of those. They
Zimbabwe.
gave me one.
I got a
Yeah,
couple too. Yeah. Yeah.
So anyhow, we've kind of run the gamut of interesting topics today, don't you think?
I think we have. Yeah, we've covered some. You got any? We got about maybe 5 minutes left here.
There was one thing that I suppose. I mean, did you happen to watch the Kansas City Bengal game?
I think I did. I watched
Mahomes and I forgot the name of the
Burrow.
quarterback now. Yeah, Joe Burrow. I mean, that was a thriller. I was as far as
Yeah,
I
it
was
was.
concerned.
Boy, that was a
And it
nail-biter.
really ended up very fluky.
Ooh, yeah.
So the way that ended with the first a big loss, which put them in jeopardy, and then they get into the field goal range, 51 yards, I guess it was. They got a good kicker. So, and they get that in a penalty. So it was really two fluky situations there. And then for some reason, I started to laugh. I said, Joe Burrow should simply say we won. He should say, we won the game. It was all stacked against us. The timing was crooked. The referees were crooked. We declare ourselves
Wanted a
victories.
recount. Wanted a recount of the score.
I mean, there are people that do that to say,
People do that.
Even though there are facts
Huh.
say otherwise, it would be the greatest quarterback there ever was. Say we won.
There you go.
Yeah,
It's
I
it's
mean, the
it's
scoreboard is incorrect.
goes on in other fields, so why not
That's
in
right.
football? Yeah,
We were out there
yeah,
that day, and we declared victory.
yeah.
So I thought about someone if you have an NFL quarterback just said, "Hey, we won. We won the game." It was that
Yeah,
last little bit that doesn't count. It's
yeah.
all fake news. We
All
won.
fake news. Yeah.
I mentioned that to you because I laughed hysterically to myself, and now you know what I laughed at, and that's the end of that story. I
That's the
mean,
end of that
that would be
story.
two of
Yeah.
us might have laughed at that. So
Yeah. Hey, I want to finish up here on a real serious note. I haven't
okay.
mentioned this at all to you, I don't believe.
Mm.
This has to do with my wife's cousin in Lithuania. Of course, my wife is she's an immigrant, same as your wife.
Mm.
And a couple of years ago, we went back to visit her relatives in Lithuania. So she's got there are three generations over there that she got to meet a number of them.
Oh.
Yeah, it was real nice. We had a great time with them. And the fellow who was kind of the master of ceremonies, ambassador, et cetera, at the big party we had was Edvidas Vigantas, otherwise known he's known as Eddie. Okay, he's perfect English, absolutely perfect English. Uh, a young guy, my wife's cousin. A little while back, he was on the balcony of his apartment, and the railing gave way, and he fell from the second floor. Now he's paralyzed basically from the chest down, from the waist down, and he's been going through all kind of therapy. He's in a lot of pain all the time, and he is now he's wants to try a stem cell operation. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So he has set up a GoFundMe page for to raise money for the stem cells. The stem cell. I think it's a series of two operations. So yes, in some cases stem cell it works. In other cases it doesn't work. It does have a reasonable batting average for spinal cord injuries.
To regenerate the nerve
Yeah,
canals or something.
the discs and all that. Yeah, yeah. So anyway, he's done everything else. He's going to try this. So I'd like to post the GoFundMe page, Eddie's GoFundMe page, and if anybody feels the inclination to donate to his page, that would be much appreciated. Take a look at the page, follow your heart, do what you can. Anything would be appreciated. He's a guy that we know. He's a great guy, and he's a young guy. He's only 34 years old.
Oh,
So yeah, I'd like to sign off with wishing the best to Eddie, and hoping some folks out there can help him. And otherwise, this is Old Buck Dave saying, take care, everybody. We'll see you the next time, or talk to you the next time.
well, I wish him the best also, Dave.
Thank you.
This is Old Buck Dale. We'll leave you with that, and we look forward to talking to you next time.
And we'll try to put a little clip of this on YouTube again.
A little.
Yeah, we got
just a little.
a little
I didn't
clip.
shave my shoulders.
I know. Okay. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.
Bye bye.